Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 5 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Stewart Vernon, the CEO and founder of America's Swimming Pool Company. And America's Swimming Pool Company is the nation's most respected swimming pool maintenance and repair franchise. They were established in 2001 by Stewart Vernon, and the company was built on the belief that providing the highest quality pool maintenance with competitive pricing and a high level of dependability will attract customers. And that's coming right up on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 4 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get inside tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Check out our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. Get 3 months of free advertising when you sign up for our 1-year package. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 5 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott. I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Stewart Vernon, who is the CEO and founder of America's Swimming Pool Company. And America's Swimming Pool Company is the nation's most respected swimming pool maintenance and repair franchise. Hey, Stewart, how you doing? Welcome to the show today.
I'm great, Marty. Thank you very much for having me.
It's our pleasure, Stewart. It's really a timely show today. I guess it's pretty hot out there today, but I suppose where you are too. Where are you calling from today, Stewart?
We're in Georgia, right in the center of the state, and yes, it's about 80% humidity, and probably be 110 by the end of the day.
Yeah, good pool weather, right?
Exactly, good pool weather.
My sister Stuart recently just got a pool, so I feel like I'm becoming not an expert, but just more knowledgeable on pools, and it just so much work. So there's a lot of reasons we're excited to have you on the show today. You have a great story. A little bit. If you could tell a little bit about your background, like maybe what you were doing before, founding or joining America's Swimming Pool Company.
Sure, absolutely. I founded the company in late 2001 upon graduating from college. Knew I wanted to transition into the business world, into self-employment. Didn't know how, what, or what field that would be, and basically stumbled upon the swimming pool industry just here in Georgia. I'm just here in Macon, where I'm originally from, south of Atlanta. Launched the business in the original location, grew it over the next 5 years, and eventually had our flagship location to develop the franchise model based around, and we began franchising in late 2005, and really where our growth and expansion has come from.
Wow. Did you know, like, early on, Stuart, that you were going to, use the franchise model?
No, good question. Would have absolutely told you you were crazy in the beginning if you had asked if that was a method for expansion. Would have never, didn't know enough about the franchising world to even understand that. It was a world I wasn't familiar with. So when we realized that could be a potential for expansion and could be a model for growth, I spent about 4 months studying the franchising world and the service industry world, which really opened my eyes to that being a possibility.
Wow. How do you describe the franchise system, Stuart? I mean, as far as, like, when you guys are, like, let's say you're at a franchise show, how do you typically describe the franchise system?
Sure. We're entering and tapping into a home-based service sector in an incredibly fragmented market. That's the one premise that our franchise owners understand, is that we're not entering a pest control business. We're not entering a home painting business. We're entering a market where there is no national brand on the swimming pool level. There is no market-to-market competition across different sectors. We're really entering in a relatively new industry. I mean, the swimming pool industry on the service side is not an old industry. We're entering in a very mom-and-pop and rural service sector. And so our franchise owners are business-minded individuals that realize they can enter that sector for low capital, low overhead, low risk, and high profit margins.
Wow, which is, I guess, probably surprising, right, to some aspiring entrepreneurs. I guess they probably think that this is, like, really expensive to get into, and it's really not, is it?
Exactly. We're in a business that you're able to enter into with very low overhead and risk, because we're not, you're not opening a restaurant. You're not putting a fleet of vehicles on the road from the beginning. You're entering a business with, that requires blood, sweat, and tears in the beginning. And you can really grow with your business. You can expand with the revenue expansion. And that was what appealed to me in the beginning, 10, 11 years ago. It's really what appeals to most of our entrepreneurial owners today, being able to expand with the expansion, with revenue growth.
Wow. I work with a group called the Collegiate Entrepreneurs Organization, Stuart, and a lot of them are listening to the interview this morning, just so you know. A lot of them feel that,
Sure.
At a young age it's difficult sometimes to, get into a business at a young age, and it was one of the reasons I certainly wanted to have you on the show today. What advice would you give to them? I mean, my students who are in, like, their 20s to 30s, and they want to do something like this, and they feel like there's just so many obstacles. What would you say to them?
Yeah, it's very interesting you asked me that question, because I look back and I'll tell you, I won't give them the same advice that I was given, which was by a local entrepreneur that I met with here right before I launched, right before I tried to make this decision. I went and sat down and met with him, and his advice to me was absolutely under no circumstances should you start a business fresh out of college or in your 20s. You have enough, time, experience, expertise, capital to do it. And I feel the opposite. I think that, especially as I look back, if you can identify a need or any brand or any market that you can tap into, to me, one of the best things that we as young entrepreneurs have going for us is the fact that we've got time on our sides. Yeah. Sometimes we've got blissful ignorance on our side, and we've got just plain the ability to work hard. And to me, some of our most successful franchise owners and successful entrepreneurs I know have started at a very young age and been successful because of that. So I think that if you identify any sort of brand or need or market, give it a shot, tap into it, work hard, outwork your competition, and there's no reason that you can't make it as good or better than the next guy.
Wow, that's great advice. This is very well said. So the industry, it sounds like this is a pretty big industry, Stewart. I mean, are there any numbers, as far as like growth and things like that, or?
Sure, yeah. The industry as a whole, even though it's fragmented, as I called it, and relatively young in the scheme of business in general, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. I mean, we are part of what we would consider and our wholesalers consider the recreational dollar industry, meaning someone's either going to put a pool in their backyard or renovate their backyard experience. That dollar competes with boat sales and RV sales and home remodeling sales. So we're in a multi-billion-dollar industry that's growing even through the recession. While home construction might be down, and therefore new pool construction might be down, the pool service sector, people repairing pools, renovating pools, fixing problems, we've seen a steady climb on. Our same store sales and same franchise sales year over year, we're up 45% as a company this year. We were up just under 50% in 2011. So we've been able to really put our nose to the grindstone and push hard through the recession to grow sales, by marketing and reinvesting back in our franchise system and working hard at the end of the day.
Oh, that's great. We've common theme over the last several years on the show, too, Stewart, has been the word staycation. I can't tell you how many times it's come up. People staying home and investing, like you said, into repairing their pools and all that other stuff. It's been a common trend. It seems like here in the United States. So it makes a lot of sense in everything that you say. What's been to put you on the spot? I'm sure there's a lot of stories you have, but what's been the most interesting thing that's happened to you since starting the company? Again, I know you must have 100 stories, but does anything stand out?
Oh, good question. To me, if you look back over the entire life of the business from the very first pool we ever cleaned, I think the most surprising or one of the proudest times we've ever had was when we launched that first franchise. We launched that first new owner who had no training and no business background with us, and we had no websites and national presence. And getting that first profit and loss statement on that second or third month from that owner, and actually seeing him take our business model and some of the easy, intricate things that we do as a company, and actually making it a dollar, turning that first dollar, that first profit, in another market, in another city, via our model. That to me, I will go to my grave with that memory of seeing someone else make a dollar with our business model, and knowing that we really had a platform to build off of, to grow off of from there. So that stands out to me more so than any other memory I have.
It's great, and it's we've done almost like 300 shows up to that point, and very similar response a lot of times. You've probably heard that about 5 times on the show up to this point. It's always your first one, it seems like, you know what I mean, where you get that profit and loss, and you feel like you said, oh my God, I did that, or I was partially responsible for that, and the ability to be able to change lives now, is
well, and that was the case with our first two owners specifically, but and why they stand out so much. Both were looking for a new opportunity, a new life, so to speak, and to be able to feel like we helped provide that platform was very powerful.
Yeah, it must be the high of all highs, I imagine. So it's interesting. So, what kind of characteristics do you look for in your franchisees, Stewart?
Specifically, we like to make a joke. We tell some of the franchise prospects that come through here, we do not want you to have any pool experience. We do not need you to be, Mr. Technical Repairman.
Right.
If you can tell the difference in a flathead and a Phillips head screwdriver, you've got all the information that we feel like you need.
Wow.
We want someone to be business minded. We've learned that you cannot teach work ethic. You cannot teach business sense. We can teach you how to clean a pool. We can teach you how to repair a motor on a pump.
Right.
how to change sand. We can't teach you hard work and work ethic and competency. So we look for those core characteristics that I feel like an entrepreneur or businessman is either born with or has deep down inside that they can tap into. We'll provide them the vehicle for success. We'll provide them the roadmap. That really is the premise for what we stand for and look for.
That's great. So what about the training? Once you decide that, someone is a match for your system, they like you, you like them, and they say, okay, I want to move forward with this franchise, what's the training like from there?
We have what is called Pool School, and we host that several times throughout the year, primarily in the winter and the early spring, in anticipation for, of course, the spring and summer launch. It's a 2-week comprehensive training class here at the corporate office. Start to finish, it is comprehensive from everything from the first day, what's the difference in a pump and a filter,
right.
How to clean a swimming pool, all the way through the last 2 days, which are totally and specifically focused on nothing but business, profitability, bookkeeping, marketing, operations. So we really run the gamut of trying to teach them everything from how to clean a pool to then how to go out and run a profitable company, whether they're running a swimming pool company, car wash company, or a restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
The last 2 days are focused solely on the principles of business that will make you successful. So a franchise owner gets that here for 2 weeks, and then the relationship really just begins. We launch a 5-week startup plan from there, where we basically hold the franchise owner's hand daily, weekly, and monthly in their infancy phase of their business ownership. We take care of all of the marketing, the website development for that franchise owner in the beginning, and they're up and running. They're launching and operating.
That's fantastic. What would you say a typical day like, if there is such a thing, as a franchisee, Stewart?
Sure. In the beginning, we tell our franchise owners, just like any startup business, no matter what industry it is, you should be expected to wear all hats and be all things to all people the first few months, the first year. But we really focus on where that transition occurs. So where it might be everything from answering the phone, cleaning the pools, and being the bookkeeper in the beginning, that's not how our successful franchise owners really grow. From there, at a certain point, whether it be 6 months or 12 months, we want to see our franchise owners begin to turn over some of the day-to-day operations to a staff, put a second truck on the road. We want to see our franchise owners very quickly transition into the CFO and the CEO of their own operation and evolve into running the business. I tell them at a certain period of time, you've got to work on the business, not work in the business.
Right.
And in versus on are two very different principles.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. This is well said. The majority of our listeners to our show, Stewart, we call them aspiring franchipreneurs. They kind of have it in their mind that they want to buy a franchise. My wife and I were recently at a franchise show at the Jacob Javits Center in New York, and this was her first time at one of these things, and she was overwhelmed. She said, "Oh my God, I can't believe all the people here and all the different opportunities." What would you say to those people who are looking to buy a franchise, because you are an entrepreneur?
Exactly, and to me, that's where I feel like the right entrepreneurial mind mixed with the right franchise system is the ultimate. I describe it as the ultimate win-win. If a franchisor, meaning us, if our company is doing our job, the biggest thing I could tell a prospective franchisee is that you should be able to enter that partnership and come out better than you would have or could have on your own. And that, to me, is the most important facet that I preach to our staff and our franchisees. We've got to be able to help those entrepreneurs, as you call them, be able to take that model and do it better than they could have on their own. If they are, it's a win-win, and we both come out better than we could have apart from each other. So I think that's what a prospective entrepreneur, prospective franchisee has got to focus on. What are they going to get from the franchise company? How dedicated is that franchise company to the success of their franchisees, not just to selling new franchises? Right,
absolutely. How one of the things I love about talking to the CEOs and founders of the company is that how big would you like to get, or what are your plans for the future? If you can look into a crystal ball and say, okay, 5 years down the road, this is where we want to be. How would you respond to that?
Well, I can answer it two ways. One, I can tell you how fast we're not going to grow. We have specifically prided ourselves on only offering pool school trainings when the scheduling permits, meaning we never stack one pool school class on top of another. As I mentioned earlier, that 5-week startup plan. We have to make sure that as soon as one is over, that we're focused on the startup of those franchise owners specifically, not on the next franchise owner coming to us ready to launch. So that answer also goes to we're not going to grow in a geographic region that we can't support. If we can't be there in a pretty simple, easy plane flight, we're not interested in putting a franchise there yet. So we're going to make sure that we can support the support of our franchise owners. That being said, we have had slow, steady, methodical growth over the past 6 years from one state to two. We just entered our 11th. We're in the southeastern, southwestern region, and that should be our primary focus over the next 5 years. We feel like in the next 3 to 4 years, our projection is to double the number of franchise owners we have. We're at approximately 50 franchise owners running 100 territories in 11 states. We feel like that should double in the next 3 to 4 years based on our support and growth model.
Wow, that's terrific. What's the best way for our listeners to get more information on becoming a franchisee and all the different services that you guys provide, Stewart? Any websites they can go to, like any phone numbers they should call?
Our website provides that all, ASPPoolco.com.
And it's a great website, by the way, too. I was on it several times already, and it's fantastic. So I want to congratulate you on all your success, Stewart. It was great to finally have you on the show, and, I'd already like to invite you guys back for next year as you guys, continue to grow.
Marty. Love to be back. We love your show. Love to join you anytime.
Thanks so much, Stewart. You have a great day today. Take care. And we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchise Interviews. For over 4 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get inside tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Check out our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising. For each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. Don and I have been hosting Franchise Interviews. This week is going to be 2 years and 100 shows, and during that time frame we've had some incredible guests and quotes on our show. Today you're going to get to hear from, I think, one of the best motivational speakers in the world, Mr. Warren Greshus. And Warren talks about the importance of planning ahead and insurance. And for our very first time on our partnership with Blog Talk Radio, Franchise Interviews is now giving franchisors the opportunity to sponsor some upcoming radio shows. So once again, Mr. Warren Greshus, after a word from our sponsor, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising from Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.
Franchise Interviews. For over 2 years now, Franchise Interviews has been giving you an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship.
Through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising.
And our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisors, franchisees, franchise authors, experts, and attorneys.
And our free franchise newsletter, which is a must-read for anyone looking to buy a franchise.
And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919.
That's 610-905-2919.
Insurance and things like that?
Yeah, Warren, one of the areas you address when talking about entrepreneurship is the importance of disability insurance, health savings accounts, and health insurance. I know my father-in-law was had his own insurance business, New York City, and he always talked about the importance of disability insurance. So maybe talk about those couple things a little bit for entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. You know, the thing about disability insurance, a couple of things about it. First, it's a must. It must if you're going to own your own business. Remember, one of the big problems with owning your own business as opposed to working for a company is that you don't have a safety net. You know, when you work for somebody else, especially when you work for a large company, they're going to supply you with health insurance. They're going to supply you with disability policy. They're also probably going to supply you with a small life insurance policy. But the second you leave that company, all that stuff is gone. And you're really going to need that disability insurance. And God forbid something happens to you and you're unable to work. Essentially, you're out of business. Well, disability insurance is going to give you an income. Now, remember something about disability insurance. Here's the important thing to remember. You cannot get disability insurance if you do not already have an income. And if you're first starting your own business, you're not going to have an income. So what I did was I knew I was going to go into my own business. So while I was working for somebody else and was making an income, I started buying disability insurance.
Right.
And so while you're working, you must, the whole thing about starting a business, if you're not planning ahead before you get into that business, don't go into business. That's why I saved my money. That's why I bought disability insurance. I had disability insurance when I went into business because I knew once I started for the first few years I wasn't going to be able to buy any more because I didn't have an income. I wasn't paying myself.
Right.
Now, so when you're working, buy as much as you – if you know you're going to go into your own business, if you have any desire or plans to do it, buy as much as you can. Insurance companies will only give you as much as your income allows. You can't buy as much as you want. They judge it according to the amount of income you have coming in. Now, once my speaking business started to take off, and every time my income rose, I bought more disability insurance.
Right.
I got a ton of disability insurance. God forbid anything ever happens to me, I've got a nice income coming in every single month. Now, once I hit 65, I'm not going to need it anymore. And they're not going to give it to me anymore either. The other thing about health savings accounts, as a small business owner, you're going to get really destroyed by health insurance. The premiums are monstrous. The costs are ridiculous, but you got to have it. You can't afford to get sick, and you can't afford to let hospital and doctor bills put you out of business.
Right.
For years, I had health accounts, health insurance that were killing me. But, when the health savings accounts came out, I realized, and I went to somebody, I always had a good insurance agent. That's another thing. There's a lot of things you should skimp on as a small business owner. Watch your pennies. Watch your overhead. Things like long-distance telephones, cell phone plan, all that sort of stuff. Overhead, watch it. But the one thing you don't want to skimp on is expert advice.
Right.
You got to have a good lawyer, a good accountant, and a good insurance agent. Those people, don't worry about paying them. If you're going to, don't look to skimp on an accountant, a lawyer, or an insurance agent because you're going to end up with a crummy one. And a crummy one is going to cost you more than what you're paying out. So get good people. I have a great agent, and he advised me on the health savings accounts, found me someone to work with, and now I have a health savings account for my business. You know, it's a low premium, high deductible plan with great tax deductibility in it. It's the greatest tool for a very small business. And I'm a big believer in that. You should also have life insurance. You know, when you're in your own business, you want to protect your family, you need life insurance. But I cannot emphasize enough planning ahead and buying disability while you're still working and making a good income before you start your business, because then at least you're giving yourself some sort of safety net. Don't allow catastrophic things beyond your control to put you out of business.
Right. Such an important point you bring up, especially something like disability insurance. No one's going to think of that. You know, no one thinks of themselves as getting sick. Everyone's trying to stay positive, starting a new business, but you got to set yourself up across the board starting a business, just not things like this, putting together a business plan and calculating how long you can go, before you make a salary. And
I'll tell you something. You're more likely to get hurt than you are to die.
Right.
So disability insurance is very important.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what my father-in-law told me. It's just as important, if not more, than having life insurance.
Absolutely, and I have both. I spend a big part. I spend a lot of overhead every year on insurance, life insurance, disability insurance, long-term care insurance.